Greasy Mike. That is the emote we need.
Uh-oh. Nope. Do you want to just start there?
Hi guys, welcome to Answer the Call.
I
That's
walked
Greasy
away.
Mike.
I walked away from the computer. So yeah, we'll start there. 324. Wait, what? No, this is Answer the Call. This is a Star Citizen podcast with myself, SaltEMike, Croncy. We both stream on Twitch, make YouTube videos, and we also do this podcast where we talk about Star Citizen things going on. But the unique thing about the podcast is we open up our Discord and allow you guys to call in and use our streamer YouTuber platform to share your feelings about whatever we're talking about. Today, we're going to be talking about 324 going to Wave 1. Contested zones being talked about in detail on ISC, and they shared something crazy, which is right under Croncy on the screen right now. We saw outpost bases that we would be building for the first time this week. So very, very cool stuff. But Croncy, before we get started, how was your week? How's everything going since last week?
Pretty good. I felt really bad about streaming this week. I was like, oh man, still no Wave 1.
Yeah.
When we playing Magic, everyone's gonna cry that I'm not playing Star Citizen. And then Wave 1 finally came out, so now I'm feeling great. Now I'm way up there. Energy levels very high. So I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
Similar. I definitely recognize that members of the community are not going to feel as excited for this patch as we are, maybe. So I just saw a tweet from Virgil, who's been on our podcast talking about PvP, saying he's bored, right? And I could totally understand how he would be bored. Where
exactly.
I hope he's not jealous that I'm not, right? I'm having some of the most fun I've had in a little while in the game, just simply because the patch supports what I find to be the most fun. So at least for now. So I just, it basically comes down to everything that we've talked. We're playing an Evocati patch still. So the experience that we're having is similar to what we've been experiencing in behind closed doors, where cargo missions are essentially very good. The flow of a cargo mission, the fact that I can chain a few of them together, it's all very good. The moment you interact with a freight elevator, a tractor beam, a hangar, things start to fall apart. That's been the experience we've had the entire time. And that continues. So now people in Wave 1 are starting to experience that. To be honest, the instability issues that have been going on as well are worse than a lot of the PTU patches. I know we have had good experiences compared to others, but I experienced what other people were experiencing yesterday, and that was horrible. That was horrible.
Yeah, I've had great experiences, but I've heard of lots of bad experiences.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you guys talking about? This patch is perfect, nothing wrong. Send it, but no.
No.
Far too many issues for far too many people.
Yeah, and we were talking about this before the podcast started. The hey, I'm having a good experience, but other people complaining that they're having a horrible one has also been consistent all the way through. Some people just some servers are just good. Some servers are horrible. This morning, I don't know if you tried to play at all, but if you tried to get on a US server number 10, Ollie posted on Twitter, thank God about
I saw something
this.
from Ollie about it,
Yeah, this saved me, is I just friended somebody who was in a server and then jumped into theirs. But if I didn't know that, I'd just be sitting on a never-ending loading screen trying to get into the game.
Yeah, just a fully broken shard.
Yeah. So I only had one experience where a hangar door did not open for me this entire patch, where Morphologist told me this morning he's only had 3 experiences where the door did open. So it's like, the inconsistency is just crazy.
It's a bit all over the place.
Yeah. Gotta say, before we get started into anything, not to take it to this conversation, I think, callers, if you end up calling in and talking about this, I'd probably let you go for a second and try to move on from it, because we've talked about it plenty. Why was Evo even closed off if this is what Wave 1 looks like?
Yeah, it's weird. Like the new adaptation of Evo being semi-public.
Yeah.
means that Wave 1 also loses a bit of its like luster.
Yeah.
I was talking yesterday, like this is not very different to previous Wave 1 patches, but because we've all been talking about Evo and more people have been able to experience Evo, feels like weird.
Your
Yeah,
good
I think they
experience is not different than most Wave 1 patches. People's horrible experiences.
No. My good experience is a live patch. Like the horrible experiences I've been seeing from people, I would compare to regular Wave 1 patches in previous years. But like I said, it's just a different experience. Like I feel like we either just still should have been Wave 1 earlier because there was nothing really to like reveal, or don't do the like special Evo thing.
Yeah, it's just been
yeah.
Their choices have made that this is kind of like the first real one where every content creator is in Evo and all this stuff. So like, I mean, I can't go on YouTube without seeing this is what's going on in the Evo patch, which is absolutely nothing most of the time. So, you know, it's weird. This is what does tend to happen is I think Evo testers definitely got burned out after a month, and they if they wanted to make any progress, they had to go to Wave 1, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's why we're in Wave 1, not because the patch was good enough to be shown to everybody. Yeah. So there are a lot of problems still. The more you play, the more likely you are to come across them. How many hours do you have in so far, do you think?
About 7.
Okay. I'm maybe at like 12 or 13. And I'm starting to see more problems. It's weird. The problems I had on the first day, I have yet to experience. Maybe because I've smartened up a little bit. If you fail a mission, the cargo stays in your inventory, and you gotta make sure you don't bring that up. And if it's the same cargo for the mission that you're currently on, you might mistakenly bring that cargo up, and then that cargo will block your elevator, and then you can't complete the mission. And it's like, I don't understand what's happening, you know? So like it gets very confusing.
Yeah.
Thoughts on this? I was talking about it with my stream earlier. The delivery missions, the little handheld delivery missions, we have serial numbers on them. How nice would it be to just be like, this mission has this serial number, and you're like, oh, well, the boxes I just pulled out do not have that serial number, so throw those out of here and then grab the ones that do, maybe. Or even in the freight elevator, see them.
Well, in the freight elevators, they're still, like, they're tagged for the correct mission.
What if you did okay, so we do not have a dynamic mission system. So theoretically, actually, it's not even theoretically. I've done the same mission 3 times, 4 times.
Yeah.
If I failed that throughout the process, I will have multiple of those.
No.
That's what's happening.
So
to me.
I did the same one mission 15 times yesterday.
Which one?
And I want to quickly touch on that. The intro mission, because the one problem I did have this weekend was when I first logged in, I had a server crash, and then I also had an impounding issue. Right at the start. So I failed 2 missions immediately and went super into the negative for reputation for delivery hauling. So I had to do the same mission 15 times. Yeah, it took me 15 intro missions to get into the green, which that's a lot. Like I understand getting punished for failing a cargo mission. That is too many. That is far too many.
That's funny. So my experience was totally different. Because Wave 1, the first patch of Wave 1, is a carryover from the previous Evo patch. I completed the intro mission under NDA. I went live without recopying, and I just had all of the missions available to me. Yeah. So the only mission I did not do publicly on stream is the intro mission.
Yeah, look, fair. But yeah, when I did it, I still had the failed mission cargo in my inventory. It was not tagged. It was just commodity, straight up, and that was it. So all of the future missions were tagged for like the mission that I was doing.
That's interesting. Mine are tagged.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're having different experiences there. Like I have all this waste of missions I have not accepted. Where I think that is coming from actually is they are failed missions, but they are failed as in I logged off with these missions
Mhm.
going, and they like timed out. They didn't. I didn't submit them. but they're not available for me to interact with.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why.
Interesting.
Who knows?
Yeah. Could be.
But yeah. Overall, I have loved the flow of okay, I'm on Hurston. I know I'm at Everus Harbor. I know I'm going to. There's a few distribution centers that have been popular, like Magnolia, SCD1, and Farnsway, and one other one. I forgot the name. Get Castillo.
Yep.
Those four. So like, you kind of find like, all right, I'm going to go to like 2 of those, and you find 5 missions that you could do with a relatively small ship. Say Freelancer, 60 SU, hull A, something like that, and you could grab like 4 or 5 of these missions and chain them all and go. And it's been super fun doing that. I've enjoyed the absolute hell out of it. It has been fantastic. Just the moment I have to interact with an elevator or hangar, it becomes a little bit problematic. But you and I both have had very good experiences. Saturday, I did not. I experienced all the things that you did not want to experience.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
With that mission flow in mind, I do have to say things like the Nomad have become like one of my favorite ships in the game now. The speed at which you can load and offload off the Nomad with the ship tractor beam, opposed to like every other ship that has a ship tractor beam because they're like positioned weirdly or they're just sort of in an awkward spot, has been so sick, and I love that.
You ready? One massive change that could change it even and make it even better.
Yeah.
New MFDs. I'm in my hangar. I can interact with my freight elevator in my MFDs of my ship, and then I never have to get out of my ship, and I can interact with the cargo the whole time. So I don't know if I have any. Do you have a stream of using it?
Yeah, my entire stream yesterday, pretty much.
Okay, because I've been bouncing between ships. I'm like, what is my very big quotations around entry level? What is my entry level go-to ship going to be? And I really want it to be the Hull A. Hull A is my favorite.
Yeah.
No tractor beam on the Hull A, so it loses some marks there. Then I really want it to be the C1, but the placement of the tractor beam on the C1, I hate it.
It's just awkward.
I also have to get out of my seat to go into the co-pilot seat to use it. Hate that. Then it's the Cutlass. Same concept. Then you come to the Nomad, and the only downfall of the Nomad is 24 SEU.
Yeah, which luckily, at least for these missions, still lets you do like three or 4, depending on the size. But yeah, obviously you want to do more than that.
Yep. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out what my go-to daily driver will be, and I don't know yet. You think
I feel like it's Nomad? Still early. For the small / extra small, probably. And then I haven't decided of anything bigger yet, but I also haven't seen anything bigger yet. I'm still on junior, I think.
No, if you're on junior, you would see medium.
Possibly they were taken in the server, maybe, like they just weren't available. But yeah, like I'm around then. Was I rookie? Australia reckons I was rookie.
You're definitely rookie. Yeah. If you trust me, you'll get to 60 SCU the moment you hit junior.
Okay.
So you'll start seeing like 60-ish SCU.
Yeah.
Actually, you'll start seeing up to 500 SCU at that point. So you'll know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a big push.
One just general bit of and like we could have talked about this in like previous weeks. Do you have any feedback? Do you have any feeling like I guess you're not far enough. Once you hit these mediums, I think you'll start to feel this. Is the progression that you make? They went about it in a weird way. I guess what I could do right now is bring up. You remember the SEL where they showed the chart of like your progression? We're experiencing exactly that. Which is. You're like, once I hit the medium missions, I got these like really, and yes, pun intended, crappy missions where I'm only moving waste. And it's
sure. That sort of tracks though, right? Because it's like only waste and scrap really that like once you get to the larger ones, it's supposed to be the like more
exactly
the larger not quality quantity commodities, right?
exactly like I'm trying to think of how to describe like why it makes sense. Oh, I'm like right on it. Perfect. I think this will help explain things a little bit better. You did your intro, and
15 times.
Yep. Sadly, I'm sorry for that. In case you guys don't know, you can see what little block you're on if you type r/r_display_info2. It'll tell you what mission you're tracking, and it will have these tags on that mission. So we are still in the early, and then when you hit, like, you're on rank 0, you're currently on rank 1. I'm currently on, I might be rank 3. I'm not sure which level the ranks are, because I see 60 SU and I see 500 SU.
I feel like it's possible bulk grade. Like, is bulk grade like Hercules, or is bulk grade Hull C?
That's what I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So I get missions that have 32 SCU containers.
Yeah, so yeah, that would make sense for it to be supply grade if it would like level up like that. Like, it feels like this graph might be either missing a level or they're combining bulk grade from like anything above like, I don't know, like 200 or something.
Yeah, but regardless, I've gone through and like the very early and late tags, I'm really trying to see what late means. I really want to get to small grade late, and I do think that's where I am. There's a mission that pays 19K that you pick up from a distribution center, and it's only 11 SCU. That's it.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
it pays 19K.
So that makes sense there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think it's late, so I think I'm here. And then it's got 3 different drop-offs, and they're all outposts on Hurston. I'm just doing it around Hurston.
For context for viewers as well, like a small grade very early will be like 6 to 11 SCU. It'll be like 4K to like 6K, maybe 8K on the high end reward. So yeah, obviously a big improvement over that. Yeah.
So big money improvement. I'm not even really looking at money as payment because it's still so low with the ships being so high. I'm still trying to figure it out, because what I really wish we had is we had, small grade,
like another level,
badass. And you know what?
Yeah.
I think they're leaving themselves some room to do some cool shit here at some point.
That's fair.
We don't have unlawful missions, right? So there's all sorts of opportunities there in the future. But everywhere else, I'm still very early, and at the very early, it's just waste, and it's kind of boring. That's all I would say. Is the lack of variety there is not that fun, and where your mind goes is you're going to go to the highest paying mission first every time.
Yeah,
like it's the first thing you're going to look at, right? So I don't know. That was my experiences, and they were really good, but at the same time, I fucked it up like always every week. At least we get YouTube comments out of me screwing it up. You can make fun of me.
It was very cool when I first unlocked because I got to experience the missions in Evocati when they were like completely unlocked for everyone, regardless of rep. But it was really cool when it did unlock for me to go, oh, hey, like, I'm now used to going from Bajini Point to Riker Memorial for like all my missions. Now there's 3 missions that I can see that are in the thing that are all Riker Memorial, Bajini to Riker Memorial that I can knock out super quick. And then there's like, XY mission that goes from Arc L3 to Arc L2. All right, cool. Well, theoretically, I could just go Arc L3, go to Arc L2. That's pretty close to Arcorp because it's one of the like close ones, right? It's one of the the close orbitals, and then go to Bajini, and then like the pathways. I don't even know if it's deliberate because they just have that many missions, but it certainly feels deliberate of like them actually thinking about
deliberate.
Your routes. Yeah,
it's definitely deliberate, because remember the SCL? They just walked through and were like, hey, all these things are going to make sense. And surprise, surprise, they
made
make
sense.
sense. Yeah, so it was kind of good. One thing that I don't know if people can do, if people know that you could do, which is really cool,
Mhm.
to save yourself some time, buy an 8 SCU box, especially when you're starting early. If your ship can carry 8 SCU containers,
Mhm.
there's some missions that are 7 SCU, and they do 7 individual SCU boxes. Inside the freight elevator terminal, you could put all of those inside the box, and one box comes up.
What?
Yep.
When you okay, that is first sick, but that's also news to me. When you then submit it, like when you then like load it in, does it still tracks, or
No,
do you have to take it all out?
you got to take it all out.
Okay. Okay.
But you may, I don't know if this one works, because
Mhm.
I was about to test it, and it was on Saturday when everything was hell.
Sure.
What I don't know if it works is, if you can, all right, I have picked up from my pickups area, and I bring up
Mhm.
the 8 SU box, I put it on my ship. Now I'm flying over to the next area, and when I put my 8 SCU container on the grid, what happens? Do you send it down, and then, like, I can't interact with that container? Can I open it? Can I move the stuff over? That's the part.
Alright.
What is the drop off flow? I'm not sure. What I do
Mhm.
know is that I can place it on the freight elevator. I can open the container, and I can literally launch all the shit out. You know how, like,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
used to, and it just appears behind you.
Mhm.
You could do that,
Cool.
and then you can place them on the freight elevator that way. Yeah. So
Cool. Yeah, that'll save a lot of time if you're doing a bunch of the small missions for sure. Like the
Mhm.
Nomad should fit that. Freelancer will fit that, all this other stuff. Yeah, cool. Sweet. Hell yeah.
yeah, makes life really easy for chaining the small ones. A little
Yeah.
bit easier, I would say. But that's
Yeah.
the biggest container that we have for now. But
Mhm.
dude, if we get 32 SU openable containers, then you could chain all sorts of, like, if they make that
Yeah.
flow nice and easy, that'll really um solve a lot of the complaints that I think people have with the
Mhm.
amount of this, right?
Yeah.
If you're able to do it within the UI a little bit more, that would be hella fun, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I want to touch on sort of something that we showed just a little bit there on
I was
the
just gonna ask, did
screen.
you do any of this?
Yes, and it worked, and I was so impressed. So I never had my instance hanger actually work in Evocati, and actually like save the stuff that I had put in there and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday I made a little conference room out of a bunch of chairs and tables and the fish tank and whatnot in one of the corners of the hangar, and it felt so cool just actually being able to decorate something that isn't a ship for once,
Yeah.
and have my like own little space there. And I'm into it. I'm down. I am excited to actually set up like my own little armory there for every time I come back to like quickly, mess around with my gear and whatnot. I do want them to hopefully give us like things that we can put in those areas to help us along with that. Like for example, like an actual gun rack or like a
Oh, they said they're. I mean, we'll talk about that in a
yeah.
minute, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I loved it. I loved it. I think it was sick. It worked. Yeah, I'm happy.
Did you blow anything away? I heard some complaints about that, actually.
No, blow anything away? No. What
Like
do
when
you
you
mean by
left
that?
your hangar with the engines and stuff. I heard a lot of people complaining about that with them.
I did not, but
Okay.
my table refused to stay still. But I think that was because it was on an uneven surface.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only complaint I've
That
heard
could be a
about it.
problem. Yeah.
Like, I mean, expat Brett is obsessed with this kind of content, right? She messaged me, or she was in my stream or something, and said like it's the first time she ever rage quit.
Wow.
Yeah. Because of the, I guess, the expectations she had versus reality.
Mm.
But I don't know. I that kind of stuff I don't care really. I just wanted.
Sure.
I was all about. I am grinding this rep to max, and I want to see what we get.
Yeah.
I want to feel what the progression feels like, because I think the biggest like complaint that people had was, oh, the economy, these economy guys are ruining everything. The ship prices went up. Like, I just want to see if it makes sense. So like another one of the things I did was I went to Pickers Field, and that was the spot for RMC, right? That a lot of people were going. Pickers Field, Rappel. Pickersfield sells RMC now for $27,000. Sells it to
What
you.
was it previously?
12, and it would sell for 15
right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So you would do like a huge run, make 2 million credits. Now, if you were to buy from there and sell to a city, you would lose money.
Mm-hmm.
And they only have 100 SCU max that they're holding because it's a little outpost. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So the other aspect that we've talked about on the stream a lot was like, all right, so I'm doing some cargo missions, but I got some extra room. Maybe I do a little commodity cargo running. It seems like they want to promote that, but also I don't know what the routes are, and like everything has changed. So we don't know where to make money, how to make money from that front just yet. If we even can. I mean, people are just calling it dead. Commodity cargo trading is dead.
It should be soon. There was a comment from Wikipedia, I believe, that said that cargo rebalance is like not ready for testing yet. Which
are you sure about that?
Could mean any different things. So,
are you sure that's what he said? Because I read it the opposite. So what he was referring to is here. I'll bring it up right now. This is something that I hope you're right, and I hope my reading comprehension is what's screwing me up here. But I saw something incredibly concerning, and that was in the patch notes. So let me bring it up right here. What happened to it? It's not here anymore.
What do you mean? Like
every single. Here we go.
Yeah.
9 days ago. Let me scroll down.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right, with that. Right. I thought you were talking about Blockade Runner.
No.
Yeah. So
where did this go? So his comment was referring to that. And I believe, and I will, I'll change scenes and I'll do a little advanced search on him. That he was commenting on that in particular, saying that it's done.
Right.
And I'm trying to find that. Here we go.
Which feels really early to call, to make a rebalance done.
Okay, so it is my reading comprehension a little bit, maybe a lot of it, because this is what he responded to. But it was very, like, I described the comment as lawyered.
Right.
Cargo career balance has been ongoing throughout the 324 PTU phases, not something for testing focus, but has been completed for 324. We'll have more info later on. So I'm just waiting for the more info later on. He just lawyered the hell out of us and said cargo career balance. So now it's this big blanket thing that isn't commodities. It's the mission plus the commodities. What? So I'm just waiting for the more info later on. Thumbs up, Waka. But that's a weird comment. And taking it out and saying nothing is not something we should be doing. That's all.
Yeah, no.
That was weird. Because I think everybody was kind of looking at that as, all right, I'm cool with the cargo missions, but I have run commodity cargo for 5 years straight. I mean, think of Jack Axton or something like that on YouTube, right? Like a creator that has literally, that has been what they do. That is the only thing they do. And it's easy to point at a creator, one guy, and be like, this is what that they do. What are they going to do now? You know that there's 50, 100, 1,000 other people that did the same thing he did, right?
Yeah.
And they don't have a voice or for us to know about it. But I personally was really eyeing this and waiting for this to come into the ready for testing, and it never did, and then it just disappeared. And it's like, I don't know. Those are the things that I like to call CIG out on, because it's all we want them to do is communicate better, and that's not the way to do it.
I wonder if it's a thing of like the economy team maybe want to focus more on the actual like cargo rebalancing, but then you still wouldn't have said that like
Yeah.
Cargo balance is done.
Like,
Yeah, no, it's a
hey,
strange,
we got our
strange
hands
sentence.
full with the cargo missions right now. We're not going to get to this patch. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you be mad at that? I mean, I would be disappointed, but I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad
get it.
because what do you think I'm going to do for the next 3 months? I'm going to do the missions. I'm not going to do the commodity trading as much.
And personally, I'm not as worried about how much money I'm making in Alpha 324.
Yeah, no.
Right?
But well, I'm not concerned. Like, I don't need to make money, but I am always concerned when like gameplay loops don't reward the player in like, you know, an appropriate way.
Yep.
So,
but it's an opportunity to play, give that feedback, and show them that hey, this can use some improvement. And we could have called that out weeks ago, and we did, and they still didn't do anything about it. But they may be doing something about it with these commodities. And I mean, another thing we could call out is silicon, pressurized ice. I mean, you may not have seen some of this stuff.
These all got removed, right?
No, they're there.
Oh, they are there. Okay.
They show up the next level for your mission. You're going to start seeing pressurized ice soon, the moment you get a little bit more rep. So that's why I'm like, I want to go through this rep grind because I want to see what other commodities show up, what things I haven't seen yet, stuff like that. Yeah. So, but I haven't seen a place to sell them if I stole them or if I failed the mission and I had them left over and they became commodities. So they did such a, I think you would think the biggest change that happened would be the hangars. But honestly, they just threw in like 10 or 15 new commodities. And they also completely changed what everything sells, how they, like everything changed. One thing, I guess, just to make sure nobody does this, is check what the maximum box an outpost can carry, because they let you create and buy 32 SCU containers. But you can't get them. So I was like, let me test this and see what happens. I spent, I think, 4 million, 2 million, something crazy on 64 SCU of RMC at Pickers Field, 232 SCU containers. And I set up the elevator that clearly couldn't fit them. And the elevator just came up with nothing. Yeah. So,
all right. So that's definitely... like that sort of stuff for sure is like something they have to fix then, because otherwise everyone's going to do that like wave one, like open wave.
Yeah. Yep. So it's it was funny. So make sure at outposts, do not interact with anything above 16 SCU. To be safe, use 8, I would say. And just make sure you're smart there, guys. Okay. Don't do what I did. But yeah. Cargo wise, that's where I stand. I think next week we probably will have gone through the entire progression thing. And I guess that's the only other thing that I would want to say is a lot of people are complaining about how much money they're making, myself included. And I'm not sure I see the like, all right, if I start with a nomad, I'm not sure how I see myself even getting to a freelancer money wise. Yeah. It is so far away. But what I am seeing is how quickly I can make progression. You obviously had a horrible start to your progression path, but now that you're past
for like
your
the
entry,
first like 10 minutes,
now that you're past the first the intro, and you're gonna see this too once you hit the next level. You're not getting little 0.5 jumps. You're getting 5.0 in your affinity. You're getting huge. Your bar goes up way faster. So you'll start seeing that happen as well, which is really nice. So like going through junior to get to whatever the next one is, member, I think, is very quick if you choose the right missions. So progression
as well as stacking a few missions up at once, which is kind of dope. So
exactly. Yeah. Progression feels satisfying.
Yeah.
I have not looked at my Moby Glass how much I have money wise once.
Oh yeah, of course not. But also
satisfying about it,
especially not in PTU though. It's a bit harder to track when you start with 15 mil, right? I will say though, like based on,
I have no money. I bought some ships. I bought some in-game ships, so I need the money a little bit. But
a pori. I will say I have come around a little bit to the UEC rewards,
Okay.
just based on amount of time and yeah, if you do stack up missions. For the low end missions, like a mission that's going to reward like 4 to 6k, once again, super base level, you'll be able to do 5 to 6 of those an hour. If you stack them, you'll be able to do more. So, but to be fair, that is also like I was using the Nomad. I was also like an absolute beast with it because I had been doing in 15 missions with just the Nomad. But like you can get through those really fast. I obviously don't know how much that scales.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen that happen very much in the higher level missions.
Mhm.
I'm hoping that it scales quite a bit because otherwise obviously don't want to be in a situation where it's only worth it to always take the small missions. But yeah, like it's alleviated a little bit of the worry from me from that side.
Yeah.
As always, still want some better rewards other than just UEC and rep, but
Yeah.
it feels okay for a if I was starting Star Citizen today, looking to make UEC and 324 was live, I would not hate owning a Nomad and doing nothing but cargo. I would feel like I was getting enough UEC reward out of it.
I agree with you, but
Mhm.
if we looked at it from the overall game perspective and say, is this good? Does this feel like they can go down this path into 1.0 and have success and people love their video game? I think like, can we recognize our bias here and try to remove our bias a little bit and go, does this feel right for the game overall? If I try to do that, I really struggle with it. I can't. What is their goal here? Because I know for myself that if I was to play Star Citizen 324 and even beyond, that if I was to make progression in this game and I was to play this game every day for the next 5 years, this is one of the things that I would want to interact with on a regular basis. Therefore, I would want to feel like I am making progression and I am making progress through these specific tasks, these things. And that's why I keep calling out commodity trading is you got the missions and you're working for somebody else. Pay's not going to be as good when you're working for somebody else, but when you own your own business, pay's pretty better. It's a lot better, right? So that's the kind of piece of the puzzle that I feel like is maybe missing because we don't have enough info yet. The websites aren't caught up and all that stuff. You know, they're not automatically finding the best trade runs for us like we used to have. Now we actually have to do the work. And yeah, so the missions aren't paying as well. But I think Elliot hit the hammer on the head or the nail on the head or whatever with the missions are supposed to tell you the story. They're supposed to tell you that, well, yeah, you pick up stims from Farnsway and you drop them off at Thetis, Stanhope, and these are the people that are buying stims because they're mining outposts and there's lots of injuries. They're telling the story of the game. So now...
injuries, Mike. That's why they're taking the stims.
Yeah, right? They need the painkillers. So is that the story that the game is telling me, and I should be doing these commodity trade runs myself? Probably, right?
Yeah.
So that's the part that I think the piece of that puzzle that's missing. And if that paid well enough and I was moving from a Nomad and feeling variety and it's sending me in more places, like right now I think one of the other struggles that we have is all these missions are static. I'm seeing the same mission over and over and over again. I'm chaining the same mission over, like there's already a meta, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
I think the meta is a bugged mission, to be honest, but that's the Stims mission that pays 20K for very few SCU. But yeah, I don't know. So I just want the feel of I'm doing this every day, but every day I'm feeling like I'm making my way towards something maybe a little bit more meaningful, that would be getting a new ship and doing bigger missions that are more meaningful, So that is, you could see the progression path, but the way we get to it doesn't feel right yet. But I also haven't made my way through the...
Yeah, there's still more to experience.
The rep, yeah.
Yeah. I will also just touch on, we should get to other topics because we're already 40 minutes on just talking about Targo. But hey, this is what we've been waiting on for
Yeah.
months now.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I admit no. Okay, you can sort of see where this can go in the very, very near future. I fully expect, 4.0, we're likely going to have cargo runs from Pyro to Stanton and vice versa that are going to pay more, less, whatever, some variation. Because it feels like it's really easy for them to plug it in. Of just, here is location A, here is location B. They showed us that chart. They showed us how they try to calculate that stuff. So it does, at the very least, mean there should hopefully be more variety every time we get new locations. The problem is how quickly we'll get new locations. But that's what I'm gonna look forward to. I'm looking forward to dangerous missions of doing cargo in Pyro that will hopefully reward those smaller. Smaller cargo ships. Like here is 12 SEU, but you're taking it from Bloom in Pyro all the way to Crusader or something, right? Yeah.
The only I'm going to play devil's advocate, even though I agree with you 100%. Just playing devil's advocate here is the thing that scares me would be, we always go, all right, we got this thing. I could see the future. I could see the potential if they work on these things. Do you actually think they're going to continue to work on this and allow it to grow? Salvage has stood still, right? Since it's come in with ever since construction materials came in. We've had a couple of patches where it has sat there and we all know that it needs more. Mining is I would say in a good place, but needs crafting, right? So there's... Do we think they're going to continue on with this? Because for me, I just want to see containers that can be open. Maybe they're locked, but I'm moving guns, I'm moving ammo, I'm moving cruise locks, things like that as well, and not just these commodity boxes that have been, made up for the game for this purpose, right? So
I will say, in terms of salvage, we saw 3 patches in a row of things getting added to salvage.
Okay.
Right. So we had the initial release, we had missions, we had and then what is it called? The thing that makes the construction materials.
Structural salvage.
Structural salvage. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we do get more.
One more devil's advocate.
More of these kinds of missions.
Is this the third patch? Because we've had a lot of cargo updates. So we've had cargo's physicalized, but it's 1 SCU containers. Now we can get up to 32 SCU containers. You can open them. Now we have the hangars and the car. Is this it? Do they want to move on to something else for a while? This is what they do. They might.
I would just say,
I would hope they don't.
Yeah, exactly. I would hope they don't. And at the very least, as long as we get more missions, that's probably where more of it for me comes from. It's less about different types of gameplay, and it's more missions in more locations. That can flesh it out a ton for me for ages.
There's an easy way to point that you're right, that they will. We've been seeing sneak peeks of liquid containers and all there has to be another
all
update.
the stuff they showed at CitizenCon at the end of last year, where it was here's how cargo is going to go.
There has to be minimum one more update, or those things get added to this patch at the very least, right? So
another thing that I'll bring up, we're never going to stop talking about cargo, just because you brought it up just before.
Cargo's amazing.
Exactly, it's the only cool thing in Star Citizen, guys. So play
right now, at least.
You touched on it just before the podcast when you were on stream, which is everything is Covalex. There's no red wind, no Ling die? I can't.
Ling shipment,
something like that. Yep. So there's a bunch missing theoretically.
There's not even the Bounty Hunters Guild version of cargo, which was the things that we saw in the side rooms at IAE at the end of last year.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot the name of it. Chat will probably get us in either YouTube or Twitch, but it's the Galactic something, the Intergalactic Haulers Guild or something like that. I believe it's somewhere around there.
That sounds right.
And again, we saw literal containers labeled with all these companies, right? So just to prove that I'm definitely playing devil's advocate, is we know that there has to be at least one more. Interstellar Transport Guild. Thank you. Bongo Buddy from Twitch chat. That's the one. All of that is missing. I think our expectation was to fully experience basically what bounty hunting is now, but with
Mhm.
cargo missions, right? You have your overlooking guild that will
Yep.
determine the level of mission you achieve, and then you have your smaller companies that you could build rep with. And I think that's the stuff that we were seeing at CitizenCon: pins, clothing, rewards with those companies, things like that, right? So yeah.
Yep. And to comment on Twitch chat comment, yeah, there are still Red Wind missions. It's just not hauling missions. We're
Yeah,
specifically
we're
talking
just
about hauling. And
it's
as
324.
far
We're
as
talking
I'm
about
aware,
hauling.
all of those delivery companies do hauling. Like it is they are not just here is a pizza box. So
Every company that does deliveries, we have seen cargo containers for in sneak peeks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're definitely right on that one. You choose the next subject, so we move on because I'll keep going.
let's. Oh no, I still need to talk on PTU. This wave one. The gateway system was working really well for me yesterday, and obviously for me, not necessarily for everyone. But
I've had great experiences with it so far, except for yesterday.
yeah, even in queues, it was not bad. And I thought, this was a thing that once again,
What was the
Eva Kite
longest
was
queue you had?
garbage. I had a two-person queue, and it's estimation 200 seconds. It just multiplies whatever level in the queue you are by 100 seconds.
Yep.
But it was maybe a minute. The like when the servers work, which is a classic Star Citizen saying, the amount of time it takes for someone to essentially be like thrown into their instance seems to be really quick. And that's a really good sign. It's obviously just will the servers be able to hold up in like an actual live environment?
Yeah, I mean, I had a 4-person queue, but it was 4 people standing outside, clearly waiting longer than it was going to work. So again, this happened in the in Evo where it just doesn't matter what the queue says, you're fucked. But then I also had a 1-person queue, similar like a short queue like you. My doors open, but I could see there was fake doors there that if I flew up, I was going to die. I waited. The real doors closed, or the fake door started opening. I can't remember. And I went out, and I was good. Like, good queue experience. I also, later on in the day, came across a Corsair that was completely littered across the top of a hangar because they tried to go through the invisible doors that you could see, kind of see. But the coolest part was, one of the other changes that happened in 324 is I whipped out my tractor beam, and of that unowned ship, I took it and I moved it out of the way so it wouldn't be an issue for anybody leaving the hangar anymore. Very cool. So
good boy, Mike.
Yeah. I was more doing it for me so I didn't die, but it also benefited other people.
It was a selfish task, but hey,
but the result was overall good for others. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that before we move to probably one of the biggest ISCs we've had in a hot second.
Yeah. It was cool, but let's talk about that. It was cool, but it underwhelmed me yet again because of the obvious reason, I think. It was awesome. It was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah. But it was underwhelming because they never told us what the rewards were. And I talked about it with my chat. I was like, we got to leave some things for surprise. So I get it. But what are your Wake of Disaster was great. SPK was great. All these things were great on paper, just like this is, by the way. Zeus.
Yep.
Sneaky
Zeus.
Yeah, they did some sneak peeks of ships that are coming. This is the Zeus. So you can see the back of it. You saw the front of it just before that. For me, it's like, okay, well, these locations are really, Ghost Hollow is the other one. Everything was cool, but the rewards are kind of because rewards were always money, people got bored after a while.
Yeah.
So it really comes down to what are the rewards here. It doesn't matter how good the gameplay is. Right?
It does matter how good the gameplay is, but you still want something for people to strive for. I do.
Because the whole thing is dependent on it's called a contested. You have to stay there and contest it. If it's not worth contesting, it's not going to be worth doing, and people aren't going to. I think what they're trying to do is they know their community and they know that people who are not PvP inclined are going to want to come to Pyro. So they're trying to funnel PvP into certain areas, which I don't know how I feel about. I don't know how you feel about. I'm on the fence at the moment about it. But if the reward isn't good, the PvP funnel is not going to work.
Yeah. It's
because players are going there for the reward and killing other players and looting other players.
Yeah. So yeah, the fact that as well this will be happening at like every station could mean that it gets spread out a little bit as well, which could be unfortunate. Guess it's going to depend on, you know, server size, which we've talked a lot about the last couple of months. I do think to further disappoint you, the implication from like a lot of the stuff they say here is that the reward is just money. But yeah, obviously I would want something a lot more tangible or a lot more meaningful.
Even if it's an item that is not actually money, like if it's not Ghost Hollow and like money just automatically goes into your account, but it's something that you just sell for money, it's still just a why am I here?
I would love to see it be something like rep with each different pirate faction in Pyro, and then, you know, you can have sort of some type of progression through that way. But yeah, it sounds like it is just money. I do think it sounds like the best version of a lot of these things, because it's kind of sounds like the money for nothing mission, the Ghost Hollow mission, but like indefinite. It doesn't sound like it's a, hey, I'm done, I leave now. It sounds like if we try, we can keep holding this place for like hours and hours and hours on end, which is what I want it to be. I want it to be a place where it's like you can say that you held this for an hour or two. In terms of it being a PvP funnel and stuff like that, I don't know if necessarily that's the case, because they are still very much, or they have in a lot of their language about missions in Pyro still been emphasizing, you know, like it's a dangerous location with
combat heavy
player and NPC pirates, blah, blah, blah. I think this is just more of a thing of like, you can't have fully dynamic PvP everywhere. You need to have some stuff that is like, hey guys, this is the spot if you want to guarantee. Because if it's fully dynamic everywhere, you'll log on to sessions and you'll see nothing for 4 hours sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So it's just an easy way to get into it, I think.
So yeah, like I'm looking at Twitch chat. Void Dude made a video that talked about like, oh, I want the reward to be like to bring me to another location, and you know, trying to come up with rewards that aren't just money. Just to come back to that, and I just saw somebody type it in Twitch chat. It's a contested zone. They can't bring you somewhere else. You're supposed to stay there. Like that's the point. So like I love Voidy's idea. I just hope they're in other missions or whatever. For that, if anybody wants to bring that up, I will fight you to death on that one, because it just doesn't make any sense for this particular thing. So on the note of like Pyro and all that stuff, we'll see what it's going to be. They have completely changed the lore to make it be a place that people go to. They had to. Procedural planets. Imagine having a procedural planet and all of that server hogging information for a place that nobody can go. It makes no sense, so they had to make this change. Whereas in the old way of what the original pitch of the game would be is there would be a planet on the map, you could QT to it, and you just would never be able to land. It would just be a texture, right? So it wouldn't be a waste of resources. They need to make these places useful and things for us to go. Otherwise, why waste the resources? So that made sense. Where I'm not sure yet is, and I'm just going to wait for the ISC and when they talk about social areas and what they feel and what they want to do with Pyro, I'm just going to let them cook and we'll see what they say. But what I do fear is there should be places for people that want to do PvP. There should be places for people that don't want to do PvP. And the place for people that don't want to do PvP or interact with players in negative ways is Stanton, you know? And that's sort of how I feel about this. I did like the Pyro playtest. I did like how crazy it was. It was kind of fun that you just came out of your hab and it was a war zone all the time, like even.
Yeah.
And as bad as that was, it was like, oh, I'm in pyro, like so
Yeah, yeah. I am getting a dangerous feeling here.
yeah. So if their social areas are very small,
Mhm.
I'm okay, right?
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see what happens with all that. But I'm not.
Yep.
I don't have any concerns with that yet
Yep.
because they need to tell us what we're going to do. Then I'll be concerned.
Mhm.
I'm not going to speculate too much on it. The pyro playtest showed that it was going to be pretty wide open, I think.
Yeah. Other stuff for Pyro before we get to the last topic was in this ISC is the new asteroid bases. So once again, more locations for more missions.
Try and find them.
Essentially, they sound like pretty much like bunker missions, at least in terms of size. Not necessarily that there just straight up is a bunker there, but in a bunch of the asteroid fields that are in Pyro, which sweet, awesome. That's once again an area that I feel like the game hasn't really explored very much. You've only really got that feeling at Grimhex.
And
at the moment,
have you been to Grimhex yet?
In the current patch, no.
I highly suggest everybody to go. New hangars. You look up.
Oh yeah.
It's rocky. There's a rock, like you're in an
hell
asteroid. Yeah, man.
That's sick.
So they put like a dressing over the it begins with an S, the name of the company that does the hangar. Selfland.
Arrow View, but
Selfland.
Yeah.
So there's like a Ninetales graffiti slapped over Selfland. There's like crap everywhere, and then right at the very top of the hangar, I was in a medium hangar, I think, was rock. It was built into
cool.
it. It was like, yes, dude, this is sick. So big fan. Yeah, they're beautiful. It's awesome.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, sweet. I'm all for, once again, new locations. I do find it funny that apparently they're going to have copian infestations, which is I just want to know the lore of how these dogs are getting everywhere.
Don't bother with it. The lore is
anyway.
It's the only animal we have, and we can replace it later. That's how I looked at it. Is I was like, all right, I felt the exact same feeling you did, and I was like, this is dumb. But we only have birds and dogs, so it's going to be dogs. But it maybe could have been birds because like bats. But come on, alien space station. I think we know what to expect, like some sort of face hugger thing crawling on walls. That's what we're looking for, some right?
Crawly aliens.
Yeah, we can get that one day. You could just remove the copian and just add those at some point. But they just wanted that variety here. They wanted that PvE VP experience at these contested zones. It just comes down to what I'm looting. That's it. It just comes down to what I'm looting. And the other aspect of it is what I'm looting off of other players. If that matters too eventually, that's going to be big.
That's true. I didn't think about that as well, because you got to imagine, so though this is happening in Pyro, I imagine there is going to be weapons and armor that are not available easily in Pyro.
Correct.
So if someone, if you're doing Possessor Zone and someone comes there, yeah, exactly. So like you could end up just hauling all of this like
look at the guns
armor
they're
and
using.
weapons that aren't available normally.
They're using all the Stanton guns in this video.
Yeah.
So the like we talked about it last week, what rewards would be, and we don't need to hammer home on that too much, but one thing that a lot of people pointed out is maybe it's those pyro guns that we saw in that sneak peek ISC that was so awesome, right?
Yep.
And maybe those are a little better than the guns that we're using here. Who knows?
A piece of information,
whatever.
Yeah, 100%. Piece of information that I want to touch on from the ISC as well. They once again show the new upcoming MFDs in like one of the sections. They showed again. I had Jake Acapella, community manager from CIG, in my chat when we were watching that. They said that I asked them, I was like, hey, we've seen these a couple of times now. You've got these like different amounts of squares in some of them, and then like it looks like you can maybe overclock them or whatnot. Apparently, at least according to Jake, the intention is not to change the mechanic. It is still just going to essentially be straight up the power triangle. But they were going to get back to me. So if you were like me and you were wondering why some of them had like more grayed out rectangles than others, It may be nothing. It may
Engineering
be
ISC
nothing,
coming up soon.
but hopefully, yeah.
Yep, we'll find out. They gave another little sneak peek at these, which are in Wave 1 now. Go to distro centers. That's where you'll probably find them. The other thing that I wanted to say, I forgot now, but
Like specific
lighting.
to the ISC.
Yep, lighting.
Yeah, yep.
Holy shit. Where is it? It's somewhere towards the end. It was like end the beginning. It is wild. One of these images of you're outside of like Pyro 2. It's like kind of bluish. I mean, maybe we just let him play, but like, even that.
Yeah.
So there is some lighting change in this patch that is like mind blowing.
Yeah, I think they've had more time to touch on it, right? When we played the Pyro play test last year, yeah, that shot is sick.
Look at this.
That is an insanely sick shot.
This looks like doesn't look like it is a real physical thing in a video game.
Yeah, no, not at all.
And it's all because of the lighting. It's wild how good that looks.
Yep, that's one thing it's one thing that Star Citizen's always done well. I feel like I've never ever been able to fault them for like,
but not this well,
aesthetics. True, this does feel like a step up.
Yeah, this is a big step up. So to whoever's doing the lighting and stuff, props to them, because that my mouth dropped when I saw that, and I don't get excited by this shit that often, and this is really really sick.
Yeah, it makes sense. The Pyro playtest we played was like apparently like a 6-month or like 8-month-old build when we played it, right? So this is a build that's over a year and a half old now. I imagine a lot of the last things that you do in location is like, you do touch-ups on all those sort of places. So it makes sense that they look as good as they do now. And it looked good last year too. So
yeah, it looked good last year.
It's just going to be a very cool visual experience.
A lot of the Twitch chatters are pointing it out. We still haven't gotten the global illumination stuff from CitizenCon, and this likely is that. So
fair enough.
That's what I think, at least.
Could make the difference.
Yeah. Yep. So very cool. We still have to see. I think the ISC made a few more questions for me than it did answers. But what it will answer, what it did answer, is you got proper level designers designing this stuff. It looks like an FPS level. It looks like it was made to be for these kind of things. Cover, height, length, PvE, VE,
alternate routes. There's a ton of stuff. Yeah,
exactly. It like choke points, like we're seeing here. So I do think that they put in the question that I've always had is like, are these guys capable of doing something fun?
Yeah.
I think so. From what I've seen, I can answer probably. We got to get in there and play, but probably. And that's always a good thing. So that was really really nice, I would say. There's the asteroid bases, the exteriors of them, and it was a good ISC. SCL.
SCL one I haven't watched, but I do want to watch because it's a lore SCL.
Not really,
isn't it? Is it not?
It's I've worked at this company for a long time.
Oh, so it's like
tell us some stories. Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing that came out of that was when a game director comes to the lore people and say it doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense, we need it. Then the lore people figure out a way to make it make sense. That would be the takeaway I took from it. That's about it.
Yeah, which I feel like is how everything works in every game.
Yep. Yeah, but I think the marketing team gets to dictate when patches go live and things like that with this game. So I think some people feel like the wrong people have control. And I think it's good to point out that in this case, that's not.
Yeah.
So like good positive things about stuff like that. The only other thing, and I think we said the only other thing like a million times, the rewards they were very cheeky about. They were like, they're so great that we don't want to tell you. That's one reason why I don't think it's money.
Yeah.
Like what gave
that's fair.
What gave you the impression that it was?
Honestly, just the sound of the gameplay. It sounded very similar. Like the actual physical gameplay. Yeah. It sounded like SPK.
Yeah.
In my mind, or kind of like a jump down. So I just assumed it would be something like money. But yeah, I guess it could be any number of things realistically.
The
Yeah.
freakiest, like most wild thing it could be is blueprints.
No
That's
shot we get that by 4.0.
I agree. No shot we get it in
Yeah.
4.0. That's like the craziest, most out there, like we're being cheeky and stuff. And then the most obvious would be I think the pyro weapons probably.
Yeah.
Right.
One more thing.
One more thing.
There was another. I don't remember seeing it in the video, but I saw someone post it on Twitter, but I'm not sure if it was just a meme. Is the Polaris sneak peeked in this video?
Yes. I'll find it.
So then that's the other thing, yeah.
It's like right around here somewhere at the beginning.
Yeah, that makes sense because that's supposed to, well, presumably it might be on its way for IAE, right?
Of course, yeah.
By the pace that we're
sneak
talking
peek
about.
this week.
Oh yeah, true.
The mission bay.
Yeah. So yeah, just some more sneak peeks. They've been putting more of these in every ISA. It's been kind of cool to watch out for them.
It's bottom right of your screen at some point. It just very quickly flies by. It's about this big. So that's why you might have missed it. Apparently there's a jetpack somewhere as well. There it is.
There it is. There's the Polaris, yeah.
Yeah. There's jetpacks somewhere. I don't know when.
Interesting. I'll have to have a look. Oh, I saw someone like jump
jetpack?
over like some green stuff. No, I think they're talking about that's the Zeus. Yeah. But yeah, so pretty cool. It's getting me more hype for 4.0. This stuff is just got added to a 4.0 roadmap like a couple of weeks ago. So hell yeah, very excited for that. Should we talk about the one thing that's definitely not coming in 4.0, but is our first look at something that everyone's very excited for?
Yeah, let's do it. So this was on. I don't think there's any way to like zoom into it and full screen it for this. This was on their Twitter, their TikTok, and their YouTube shorts. Is they were like coming in 324, and then at the end, it's coming. At the end, they're like, and by the way, coming in the next patch 4.0.
They don't say the next patch. They say
or something like that.
They say like, and in the future you will have. It's like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But then they show assets. Like these are assets that are in game, right? So, yeah, the homesteads, they're in engine.
How about places to store your gear?
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's right. They said at CitizenCon we'll see this. That's what they said.
Yeah, they said that in the future there will be like thingy, and make sure you're watching for CitizenCon. So yeah, they'll be talking about this at CitizenCon, which was to be expected.
Not new armor, by the way. Pyro playtest, we saw this. This is old armor with a pyro playtest helmet.
Still cool helmet though. Yeah,
absolutely. And this is probably the best version to see kind of how it works. There's no mannequin there; it's just kind of floating, and you just grab your stuff. I love that.
Yep,
I think that's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, it's sick. It was my favorite sneak peek of the year, because they started concepting this in January, like the very end of January. This is our very first look at anything. Once again, still probably just in concept. Like, I very much doubt that they are able to actually get players to put these down on planets yet. But yeah, what do you think about them aesthetically? Because that's going to be the biggest thing. Like, this is our first look at the aesthetics of the bases.
Fucking white box.
Sure.
The only thing they showed was a window that I can look out and a place to put some armor. So for me, my level of excitement is like, they're still working on them. They're going to show us more at CitizenCon. That's kind of where it is, because I think we know what I'm most probably interested in is like, do I have storage there? Am I crafting there? What advantage, or not what advantage, but what unique thing am I doing there? Not just holding my shit, right?
Yeah.
Because I could do that at a freight elevator or whatever about that. So for me, it's okay, cool, you're working on it. When do I get to use it the way I want to? I guess. So I was not as excited by this as other people. Honestly, I was more excited that they were sharing more like feature stuff in more places. More formats than anything. Yeah. So sorry to like maybe be not a downer on this, because
it's a very small thing, right? The main thing of that video is literally just them advertising 324. So it's It's
I
just
mean,
like an extra thing they've tacked on the end.
yeah, like what this means long term is huge. What
Yep.
this looks like is one room.
Yeah.
That doesn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's a home. It might be a respawn spot.
Mm-hmm.
Might. Where's the thing that I build this with? Right? That kind of stuff. So there's still a lot to learn and a lot to find out. And what this does is exactly what I think they were trying to do, is start to tease CitizenCon and show they're excited things for that. And that's what's working on me. I'm not going to go into Imagine Land and make any other expectations for the game about that for me. I think that is much further out of the game, especially looking at it, like the art quality, all that stuff. That's low. That is not their bar that they're trying to put in the game anytime soon, I don't think.
Yeah.
But what it means is huge.
Yeah.
Right. So
tell us what we're doing there. Tell us what we're doing at our bases. Tell us how we're progressing. Tell us what we can do with them. Yeah.
Oh my God, our room.
Yeah.
Our green room.
So no questions for the show today, guys.
No.
Unfortunately.
We got to like roll the dice of who gets in to the other spots, because I pulled the first 3 in, and now there's 2, 4, 6 people waiting.
Look, I am okay with saying as well, and Mike, obviously you can disagree a bit, if we don't get you to you today, keep your topic for next week. It's likely we're still going to be talking about some of the same stuff. And just bring it back in. So if we don't get you to today, don't worry, we'll get you in at some point.
Yeah. How do you want to go about choosing the last 2?
I
know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do a random number generator and roll it twice, and that's who's going to be in. That's it.
Suffering from success.
Yeah. Kind of cool. Between 1 and 6. First one is 5. So number 5 is Maxim. He comes in. Now we'll do it between 1 and 5. 3. 1, 2, 3. Fenn. There you go. Everybody else, we probably won't have room for you. Hang out there. Maybe we will. We'll try to make the calls quick.
Yep.
Because how much can we talk about? How much can one individual talk about? So we're going to keep everybody really quick, and then we'll try to get to everybody as best we can. Do we have anything else before we go to callers?
Nah, I think we're good. We covered everything. Took us a while, but there's a lot of cargo stuff to talk about. If you want to get into calls next week, because you're not going to be able to get into this week, make sure you go to the Discord on Twitch. You can go !podcast and follow that. If you are watching live on YouTube, there is a pinned comment, and if you're not watching live on YouTube, there is a thingy in the description for you to follow the link there. You just go to the green room, and we'll get you in.
Yeah. All right, here we go. I am incredibly nervous about this. This caller is one of my Discord users. So first caller is Abe. He has been waiting in the queue since like 7 a.m. this morning, and it's 11:15 now. So that's when you have to get in the queue if you want to get in, typically.
Yep. Abe, how you doing?
Is your mic working, Abe?
Come on.
Howdy.
Is my mic working good?
It's
or
working.
I should wait for another week?
No, it works.
Now you're good.
Okay, thanks for having me, guys. I'm really glad to be here. I will try to be quick. I know a lot of people waiting. Okay. Do you want to say something before I begin? I don't know.
Get into it.
Go for it.
Okay, we're first thing you talk about the cargo batch. I have nothing to say about it. You guys nailed it. You covered everything. And I don't know, it just the Blockade runner maybe event. I wish if they back it, or cancel it. This would be I don't know, maybe beneficial or good if they are. I mean, we're 2 months away from CitizenCon, so I don't know, we don't have enough time. So we're still not live, and this event will need at least maybe, I don't know, you guys are more aware of that, 2 weeks in testing. So this is the only thing I want to say about the cargo batch. I think this event will delay it even more. That's what I want to say about it.
Well, yeah, it could, but it
Mm.
also it never needed to be tested necessarily in Evo because it needs people to test.
It's also built on the back of another event that had been run a bunch of times. Obviously, it is different to it, but it was built on the back of that. So I don't think it will require as much testing. The problems that will happen from Blockade Runner will happen from the freight elevators, if that makes sense. I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah. Just this is what I'm concerned about. Like, but what do I know about game development anyway?
Who cares? We're gamers.
Contested zones. Yeah, contested zones. Like also like don't have to talk. Don't have to say anything about that. Like more than like Mike nailed it about the rewards. It's all what matters. You know, like some shadow last week, last ETC mentioned the armors, the gears. Like if they split the armor into 4 pieces. Like I mean, like we have I think 3 armors now. Like legendary, like rare, like the Duster, the Xenothreat armor. Maybe we have the headhunters. I don't know, like if those 3 armors, split each of them and spawn it randomly across the contested zones. Maybe this would be amazing. I don't know, like this would be for me personally. I would like prefer to have 3 pieces of each armor, like, and I'm still not talking about the weapons we saw on IC. So I don't know about what do you think about this, guys?
I think if they are just cosmetic and they are not like damage reduction of some different kind from something else, I don't see it being worth it. Because it hits on what I was saying before is if people are doing contested zones consistently, they might be wearing the reward that you would get in the box. And you might kill them at the start, and then you get that reward, but then you can also go through and get it again. And then are we selling those to other players? Like it just comes down to the reward first off, it can't only be what's behind the last door. That's worth it. It also has to be with what people are bringing there. Like they're trying to essentially make a miniature extraction shooter, right? Yep. And where's all the value in the extraction shooters? Yes, it's some of the cool stuff that you find at like dorms, right? In the, I go to a certain room and I have a key and I open the door and there's this really good thing. Or it's all the gear that people brought in, So maybe in Pyro, are you making, is scarcity going to be a real thing? Or am I going to go to a shop and am I going to be able to buy all the armor, right? Or are these clowns coming from Stanton bringing all their gear? Is that what's valuable? Who knows? We'll have to see.
Yeah, and bear in mind, like they didn't talk about the grand prize. Like if you look to the roadmap, of course there is these loot box in each section, but they didn't talk about the grand prize in IST. So we had to see that it could not be like a loot box. It could be something else.
Yeah.
The way they were talking about it, I don't think there is a grand prize. I think it's a literal like scalable prize, whatever it is. Maybe every now and then there's like a bigger prize than normal, like a piece of armor or whatever. But like I said, the way that I heard them sort of talking about it is that it's like you could possibly hold this indefinitely and keep getting rewards over and over and over again. You probably have to get out of there with them, but and that's kind of what I hope for.
You definitely do now with the changes to the inventory system, right? You have to bring it to an item kiosk.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, like I would prefer like if they will installed item banks that you hack them and it just randomly spawn items. I don't know, like that would be a good idea. But what I know, like anyway,
maybe it just again. I think the nail on the head is if the reward is a pico with drugs inside of it, it's not going to
exactly.
Yeah,
I agree. Another thing, like just there's 2 things left, and like that IC. Yeah, I will try. That IC episode, like I don't know, like about these green zone changes and the all like rest stop stations are owned by Rough and Ready, like almost every one of them. Like last year, CitizenCon, they communicated about the Reb thing, and it just really feels that that was a game, like for me, like with the reputation, consequences. You know, this is you choose how to play. Like the idea, like you know, when you lose rep with a certain faction, you lose then access to their station. It makes you this, you know, always have this difficulty. Like maybe, for example, you would have refueling because you won't access all station in the space. But now they're saying all stations belong to Rock and Ready, so I don't know about that. I just hope
Sorry, I'll just
that
interrupt you very quickly. Yeah, they
Go
did
on, go
mention
on.
they did mention, yes, that like, yeah, Rough and Ready are the ones that like hold the LEOs, and it was very much a thing of like they are fighting for those LEOs. In addition, they haven't talked about Ruin Station a lot at all anytime recently. In the law currently, that is still held by Xenothreat. So the areas being owned by like certain different gangs right now hasn't changed. It's just LEOs are owned by one faction, which would make sense in a literal like political landscape for them to be making deals with different pirate factions. The gameplay that you're discussing doesn't need to not exist anymore. It just might exist in a different flavor.
Exactly. Maybe like this is what you're saying. I just hope they, you know, they don't. I mean, throw the idea of their gang floor. That was a great idea. Like having, you know, this premium gun store and premium, you know, ship components where you can buy the railgun and these mission givers. I'm not saying 4.0, but I hope they don't change these stuff. Like I don't expect these stuff on 4.0 at all. Like.
But you're also like we talked about this on Discord. You're doing this thing where you're saying that they said, but you just saw a sign that said premium in the Pyro playtest and are assuming that that is behind some sort of a reputation grind to be able to go in that store to be able to buy those things.
No,
We
they
don't
say
know.
that.
They never said that, bro. They never said that that store where you buy the railguns is going to be hidden behind rep. Come on. They
I
never
don't
said
know,
that. You point me
This is
to
why
a timestamp where they said it, but I don't think they ever said that. And I pay attention to that. That's the thing I pay attention to the most. And if I missed that, I'd be surprised. But if you think they did,
okay, I agree.
you have to prove it. But I think we're freaking out about things that we don't have the information on. So
I agree. I will timestamp it for another time.
please,
Last thing is
because I want to know if that's true. Obviously,
yeah, of course. Like I just hope that they don't ruin things in the future, and that's all. Like I don't expect too much on 4.0.
mm-hmm.
And just the things I forget to say about the contested zones. I don't know about what you think about it, guys, but I don't know if this is copium or not, like, but I have this good feeling about these contested zones, not in terms of rewards or like progression, but at least, you know, this thing about Star Citizen is, it is always that anytime you choose to play this game, you need to, you know, put a time for it, like spend so much time. Now, I'm not against that. This is the main game, Lulu. This is why we are here. This is why I enjoy, you know, traveling space and planets, all the sort of stuff, salvaging, mining, and trading, and cargo hauling. But you know, even for me, at least, I will speak for myself. Like sometimes I don't have enough time to play like 4 to 6 hours each day. Like, and for onboarding new people, new buyers who want to try the game, I think it's really cool to have, you know, an action ready place in each station where you spawn to try out like bare minimum of gameplay. So I think it could make a difference when it comes to new people who want to try the game. They don't need to, you know, learn about ships and how to fly ships, and this really needs investment in their time. So I think this is a good thing. I don't know about what you guys think about it.
Yeah.
Even for me, like,
what we'll do is
cool.
We'll let you go. Make sure you put the stream on so you could hear it, because we'll answer it, because we got to get to the next caller for sure.
Okay.
But I will answer that, and I agree with you 100%. Well, I'll let you stay here, but we'll let you go after we respond, I guess. I agree 100%. Imagine like you just have to spawn a station and you're into FPS PvP. Bang, you got a place for FPS PvP, and you don't have to fly ship. You don't got to do all the sorts of crazy stuff. You go to your item bank, you get your stuff, and you go. I love that. Yeah. Maybe I have to bring the rewards somewhere to make it work, sell it or whatever, but The action there is you get the action right away. It doesn't seem like it's that hard to get into, right? Anything on that, Croncy?
No, not really. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were about to say something. That's why I jumped to you. My bad.
No.
But Abe, thank you. We'll let you go. Glad to finally hear your voice.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. And
Thanks for having me. I'm so glad. Thanks, Croncy. Thanks so much.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right, have a good one.
Bye. All right. Next caller is not our speediest, but Abe wasn't speedy either. Yeah, we'll just skip him. It's SpaceMonkeyBusiness.
How you doing, Monkey?
Hi, how are you doing, guys?
What's up?
Good, fun. Regarding the ISC stuff, I don't know if you mentioned it, but I was away for 5 minutes, so I might missed it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you mention the quality of life change that they teased in form of, hey, you can use the elevator to get from your hangar to the cargo deck?
Yeah, I don't know if they screwed up or not, but yeah.
It sounds like a thing that they could have.
He might know.
It sounds like a thing that they could just say that doesn't really mean much, like because you'll take multiple elevators, but like.
Yeah.
Well, the guy that talked about it also said, yeah, you can buy your commodities at the cargo deck, which would make sense for me logically. Like, why don't you have like the admin station at the cargo deck and a commodity kiosk there to buy your stuff, and then have an immediate elevator back to your hangar? Would, at least for me, a huge improvement in quality of life for the traders.
Yeah, I mean, it's not 30 trips. Yeah, I want to be in a place where you don't leave your hangar much and you go into the area because you need food, drink, healing, that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
is buying and selling cargo not one of those things?
Yes, but given that you have a freight elevator right there, it just makes logical sense that you could place an order and be like, have my cargo ready for me in my freight elevator. Why do I have to fly all over the place to do that? It's kind of weird.
That's fair.
Yeah. Like your hangar is how you interact with the station. If you want to interact with the station services, yes, cargo is a station service, but yeah, your freight elevator is there. You're dealing with the cargo service within your hangar. So I don't know.
Yeah. That would be the ideal case. Or even, that would be maybe too much for them. Create an app where you can trade your stuff.
I feel like we need an economy mobiGlas app of some kind.
Yeah.
Right, for sure. So
yeah, for the most part, they've just gone through the mobiGlas apps that we had already and redid them. That doesn't mean that they're not going to make new ones, So there's a chance.
And let's see. And on top of that, something else they teased a while ago was mentioning the Hull C, and maybe a while ago they mentioned I will want to change the trade system for the Hull series in total, and they also said then you can use the external freight elevator. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that
was freight elevator?
That was another thing that I feel like they said, but it didn't mean what people it didn't mean what they said really, because even in the image, like in the video,
it has to mean what they said.
I don't know, because even in the video, they're just showing the current Hull C, external cargo adding,
loading magically, literally loading magically in the video. So my interpretation is this: they mean that they were just saying that in regards to that.
I strongly disagree with that. Or I have to, because it's like, oh my god, how do I? If you want to give them the similar experience like you have in this the 324 patch with the Hull C, you have to do something like this. Loading it magically, it's okay, because I don't see any other method to load the Hull C automatically without space magic. Like drones flying in your cargo crates? I don't know.
Well, because if they do that, then it's going to be another 12 years before we actually see the Hull C actually getting cargo.
But
to Croncy's point, there's no loading bay in the
you don't
stream.
see it. You don't see that, but I hope if they do it with this external elevator, and to be honest, doesn't it have to be really big? Because aren't the other elevators designed mostly that you can bring up your whole load with one go? It's like,
well, yeah,
then
because
it has.
the biggest load that you would be putting into a ship in the freight elevators would be 696 SEU. So
Yeah.
and they can bring up 1,000. So yeah.
Yeah. So the only thing I hope they don't forget either, because it's a mess if you want to do that, and maybe also include like the docking port. The ideal case for me would be dock on the docking port. Maybe there is some extra docking ports on the cargo deck where you can dock on, and then you don't need to fly to the loading zone. This is your loading zone. You dock, then you say, okay, start it. If you want to do it automatically, it loads up your hull C on that cargo dock. And if you want to do it manually, use the elevator. But then they have to either make it possible for every seat in the hull C to use one of the tractor beams, because currently you only have the chance to use it with one seat or with the dedicated seat to use the tractor beams. And
yeah, I mean, you could have people externally,
for
but
ages.
Yeah.
Or use maybe implement some kind of mini elevator where you can call a mini MPUV stuff with a tractor beam to help load that.
Or if there
Well,
are
even-
external decks, you can have a turret that is like a one on the
Or a
deck.
turret.
Yeah.
That would be also pretty cool. That's
See-
a good idea.
See, the problem is, even with all of these solutions, because the hull C and then later the hull D and hull E have so much cargo, so much external cargo, even with all those solutions, you are making that gameplay loop unbearable. So the idea of them auto loading, I feel like just will end up being, it's going to be the solution one way or the other. You're not going to be doing these manually, I don't think, with the exception of maybe
I don't
when you're doing
agree.
it like out in space.
I don't agree entirely.
Really? It's so much though.
It's so much, but it's only 125 boxes.
Only 125 boxes is a lot of boxes, mate.
Yeah, but if you divide that by 4 people for 4 different panels, now it's not so bad.
I mean, I also thought about the possibility to give the tractor beams an option to grab more than just one crate. Maybe it's like a very strong
Group them
ship
together.
version where you can grab, group them together, use maybe 4 boxes for 32. Then it gets even easier and faster. But for the Hull E, oh my god, yeah. And I don't say
Hull E would be insane.
it's like, and you don't want to force the players to do it manually. I always cater to the thing of having options. So having the option to do it, it's not like forcing them to do that.
Yeah, like I watched Space Cutlet hold a whole C for like a week straight, pirate everything off of people until he filled a full hull C of piracy.
Jesus.
And then
That's
sold
maniac.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Which is honestly cool as fuck.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's true.
I'm in somewhat agreement with you, Croncy, but with a group, it's not as bad as you think.
Yeah. Fair enough.
The
You gotta
second
get out
and
of
last
the
point.
solo mentality with everything.
Yeah.
And the whole C is totally understandable to have the solo mentality because you fly it to a box and it auto loads for you, right? So
Yeah, that's fair.
Last thing,
the last thing is, since I'm not in wave 1, I have to ask some questions to you because I saw the stream, and first question is, how does the progression feel for you so far? Do you think it's good? I mean, from the level progression, we don't talk about the money. I don't care about the money as well. But do you feel it goes reasonable fast? Is it just like staged where you have like a bigger amount of rep on the next level you have to achieve, or is it always the same? I somehow miss the like numbers, to see numbers, rep numbers in the contract and on the UI to really get a feeling for that, how long you would take to get maybe to the next level.
My only experience so far, and I'm hoping to expand that literally today, is the very first 2 levels were incredibly quick. it was something like 2 or 3 missions done. Now, with my exception of having to do 15 missions to get back into the green at the very start, but that should not be a typical experience for people. Mike, how, like you said, you were at junior. How's
I'm at member.
that been? Oh, okay, right.
Well, I keep getting member and then having to go back, and like I keep losing rep and then having to get it back. You watch the number of boxes go up, but the payment hasn't gone up above 26K or something like that for a mission, and it's moving like we're talking 500 SCU and stuff like that. So it's like I don't understand the reputation yet. I think I need to do more before I understand it. And yeah, Space, I would suggest listening to the early part of the show. We talked a lot about it, that it just, we're still trying to figure it out, and we need to play more before we really feel the rep. And that was the one thing that I refused to do for myself in Evo. I didn't want to ruin it. I wanted to enjoy it. I wanted to enjoy it with my chat, and that's what I'm doing now. So I'm a little behind on the rep knowledge stuff.
Okay. Well, so far it looks, what I've seen, it looks fair. It looks good.
Yeah. That's it.
But the other thing is with
we gotta let you go. We got too many people today.
I heard it coming. We love you. I heard it coming, but we were like last thing, and then we gotta let you go.
I'm sure we'll see you again next week.
Yes, and I'm sure we're gonna talk about this.
My plan is to appear like every 2 weeks, because look at that number of people in the waiting room. I somehow feel guilty to take their place. So
I understand. I would feel the same way. As like, damn. But if you get here on time, you get here on time. It is what it is.
Yep. Yeah, true. I was not crazy like the first caller, like waiting so many hours, but okay. Fair enough. Okay, I'm going. Have fun, guys.
Sorry, Space, as always, but we love you, man.
No. The rules. I have to keep the rules. So.
Cheers, mate.
All right, Space.
Have a good one.
Bye. Good.
Bye. And then next coming up is Dat Random Doge. We've spoken to Dat Random before. Not first time, right?
Yes.
Howdy.
Nope, this should be my second time.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I recognize the name. Yeah.
So just 2 big points. I have to cram this into like 5 minutes, like less than 5 minutes, because I got to fucking run. Just to kind of segue through the whole C thing, like with bulk cargo, like, you know, we have these other ships coming down the pipeline that will be loaded in different ways. Something like with Xenothreat. And like how you did the whole unloading the cargo into the Javelin segment of it. Could there not similarly be decks like that to like utilize either the tractor beams on the ship or like a tractor MPUV to load the cargo into the onto the ship, and have like little pads that you can like call, like kind of like similarly to how they have the tiny pads at outposts, like call in your MPUV tractor and then just grab everything from a external elevator and then just start going, and have similarly to how the Starfarer has the dedicated MFD for refueling, have like a like how you have that, hey, here's your loading range. As long as you are within this area, you can use this MFD to call up stuff onto that elevator so that like your tractors don't have to use it. Because like they have these decks already sitting out here for these capital ships. So could you not use those decks for other purposes?
Are we just gonna ignore that like open cargo at in Pyro? Like that's the one part about this conversation that I'm like, I don't know if this is a good thing at all. But theoretically they could be used. Sure. Yeah. I mean, why waste the asset and have it sitting there only for certain dynamic events and shit that, right? So.
And ships that are probably not going to be constantly present at each station all the time.
Agreed.
So that's just kind of my segue coming in from the whole C thing. This is something that I think might be a good idea to utilize already existing resources. So the last point that I have for contested zones, something that I don't know if y'all have heard this train of thought come around. Because I know, Mike, in the past that you've talked about, you know, why can't we have missions to transport weapons? Could you not almost utilize these contested zones? I don't know where they are. I don't know if I think they've kind of hinted at like they'll be closer than you think, but they haven't said where. Could you not utilize these contested zones and almost like combine like the drug production style of Jumptown to like produce something like a crate of FS9s or a crate of railguns, and then like as you control that station, you now have the ability to produce railguns, and then you could get like a pop-up mission to, hey, take this crate of railguns back to the whatever faction's home base currently controls it, and then you get a payoff for those guns, as well as that station can now offer, you know, however much a 1, 2, 4 SCU crate of those guns could go for as far as volume goes.
Yeah, I mean, if you could do that, you could do anything. Because you could start creating unique ammo types, and you can only get them at the, you know, if you could put something in a box, and we could take that box away, and it's a, you know, the proper interactable kind, because the loot boxes that we move around, they showed them in the video, like the purple one, those are a little bit weird. But if it's like a proper box that we can yoink and run away with, that's good, because you can put anything in it. So yeah. If they could do that, they could do anything.
Not just that, one of the, like what you mentioned there about like, being able to like manufacture FS9s if you control the contested zone. That's literally one of the things we mentioned last week as a thing that we would like to be in contested zones. Yeah. So I think your ideas are fantastic, and you're a genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like, I hadn't heard, because I heard like, you know, this reward is money, this reward is guns, but like, what if you took kind of like a planet side style where the longer you control these zones, you know, you make more guns come back to your, you know, home station, because like whichever faction you have, you're going to be spending your time at that station. Well, you know, what if like while you've been offline or something, you now like your faction specifically sells guns at the station, and then if somebody else comes in from a different faction saying, hey, I want rail guns, hey, the price is jacked up because you're not in our faction.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's really just the 2 points I kind of wanted to say. I'll head out and make some room for other callers.
Easy, nice and sweet. We like that. Come back every week.
If I have an idea worth it.
Yeah. All right,
cheers,
random.
Doge, we appreciate it.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
See you.
Bye. All right, our next caller is Maxim, and Maxim's an old school. He's been on all the iterations of Answer the Call. So welcome, Maxim.
Oh, wow. He's not in here.
Did I not pull him? Where did I pull him into?
Maxim.
There he is.
Hello. How you doing?
Hello. Yeah, thanks for having me again.
Welcome.
I'm an old school. Nice.
Yeah.
I want to keep it short as well.
Sure.
First thing, Alpha 3.24. I tested some cargo missions, hauling missions. They were fun. I have 2 complaints. My first complaint is the hangars are for kind of social areas a bit loud.
Oh my god!
So we did not mention that at all. That's a fair point. There is a really bad bug right now. Yeah.
When
I think my earphones were peaking. I think they were actually like dying. For those unaware, you go into hangars right now. There's a bug where, because everyone is essentially in the same like physical location in the hangar, even though it's instanced, right? You will hear everyone else's sirens. You'll hear their ships. You'll hear like, I heard like a cyclone driving around, that sort of thing. They will stack on top of each other, tractor beams, all that sort of stuff. It's a really, really bad bug, terrible bug. So yeah, huge
THX, the hangar experience.
Yeah.
They're just like, you're at a theater and you're like, oh my god.
Dolby Atmos.
Yeah.
Love it.
When I got into this thing, it was so loud, and I thought like, what the hell is going on? I haven't clicked anything. I thought like somewhere around here should be a social experience. Okay. Nice. Yeah, second thing.
I will
like-
just before we move on from that, because I will touch on
sure,
that.
sure.
I actually like it may be because I'm just sick of the noise now because I'm hearing it 20 times every time I'm in my hangar. I truly actually fully dislike the sound of the of the sirens. I reckon it is detrimental to the
Yes.
experience. They need to change it. Even
Yes.
even like without glitches.
Like why is it so? Because
it's so obnoxious.
Okay, like I get it. It's immersive the first time you do it, but you have to recognize we're going to be interacting with this thing thousands and thousands of times. Stop. It's so slow. It's so like stop. Oh my god, the fact that when I call a ship from inside the hangar, the thing's got to go open, go down, close. Like, oh my god, come on!
And the
what
whole time it's playing
doing?
the siren. The entire time it's playing the siren. So yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway.
No. Just no. Yeah.
Yeah. Continue, Maxim.
Sorry.
Yeah. Second thing, the contract manager. Like I got some rep. Like not really that much. I think like 5 missions. I opened the contract manager and I have like 50 plus missions for hauling contracts.
Yeah, I was.
And I think like,
too.
what the hell?
Yep.
Like, and I
You mean like what the hell is and it's overwhelming or?
Yeah, of course it's overwhelming. Like they said, yeah, you can connect them and do them together and stuff. And thinking like, what the hell?
You have to
I'm
filter...
supposed to do an Excel table now, and you know.
Yeah, and I have to know, okay, planetary direct small, but that it's 8K, it's this mission, so it's probably going there. Like, no. So I think this is a really good thing for them to find out and how they want to deal with this now. This is the first time we've ever experienced anything like this. Super limited amount of bounty missions, super limited amount of bunker missions. Not, oh, somebody saying I'm too much lower. It's because I'm too far away from the microphone, sorry. Super limited, not super limited in the amount of cargo missions. So this is the first time we've really experienced this. So yes, you want to have a bunch of available so you can chain them. But what I don't want to do is look everywhere through each individual one to find the 5 that I want to chain, right? So 10% of the missions I'm looking at are the ones that I want. How do we interact with those? How do we filter them? How do we deal with that? I think this is a great problem to have because it's something that they need to recognize, they need to fix.
Having too
quickly.
many of the thing is fantastic.
Yeah, that as well from that perspective. Yeah. Also, the idea of like, oh, we need to filter missions because this is going to be a problem. So, yeah.
I actually hope they connect them a bit with the star map. Like when you are on the star map, you have like an mark somewhere, and you see by each location what contracts are available at this location. So
I want to do like a mouse over somewhere, and it comes up with like all the missions available.
I want.
Yes.
I want a button where I say I only want missions that are picking up from Ever's Heart, like LEO station, or because there is a filter by your region. But then if I could filter out LEO pickup, like, you know, pickup location, LEO station, pickup location, city, pickup location, outpost, like it narrows everything down incredibly, and then you're good. So I don't think it requires too much filtering, but cool. It does.
On the other hand, my thought is like you said, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
And I think create all the missions you have planned, and then update the contract manager. This is like the right direction.
Yeah. We were in Evocati right before you move on. We were in Evocati, so we experienced 400 missions available to you at any given time.
Yeah, it was literally every single mission that would be available.
Was it 400 or was it over 100? I can't remember.
I think I saw like 200.
Yeah, the max I think I saw was 200. Yeah, I think it was total 400 missions are available. Your Moby Glass froze for just like a second. So they were concerned about it, but it ended up not being so bad in terms of that perspective. But chaining missions and all that stuff, very difficult to sift through. The mission naming conventions are very odd as well. Hard to figure out where things are going to. It is somewhat good. It is also not the best. So yeah, they just got to figure some stuff out. But in the end, like we stated at the beginning, the mission flow is quite good. I think you pointed out the one part that is not. Right?
Yeah.
So. Yes. I mean, the rest, it's fun.
Yeah.
Nice little missions you can, while you have a meeting. Yeah, it's nice, relaxing gameplay.
Sure.
Yeah, next thing,
Which
contested zones.
I will just say, thank you so much for saying that, because we've had so many people in like YouTube comments and Twitch comments be like, "Oh,
I don't
cargo
wanna
gameplay
move."
so boring, so cringe. Who would
Okay.
want to do that?"
Yeah,
So
it's
thank
not
you,
for you.
Maxim.
Yeah,
Being that
I
person,
want to
yeah.
do that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they are great. I did like Sea of Thieves sometimes while in meetings, so you can loads of bugs. It's fun. You can grind a bit. Next thing, contested zones.
Mhm.
Yay, more gameplay. That's a nice thing.
Yep.
Next thought is like they advertise it with meat grinder. And the first
Yeah.
thing I thought about is, hey, nurse advertisement again. Die and die and die and die. Where is Death of a Spaceman? Like, someone posted on Spectrum like, cool, now we have a meat grinder right next to a hospital in a space station. Like, was there something about permadeath somewhere planned?
Once
This
again,
doesn't
not
fit together.
Yeah, once again, no time soon, which is going to mean if they do still want to implement that style of gameplay, then this gameplay will have to change, right? Like this,
Yeah.
contested zones are not built with that in mind, it seems.
If gear is required and gear is hard to come by, which hopefully it is, that'll be good, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Maybe it's not something we do every day. Maybe it's, like I said, an exfiltration thing, and you do it once per month after you grinded some gear or something.
Yeah.
But like, I'm here still for the Death of a Spaceman experience, because I think risking something is really important for many loops we have, and this direction, every time I see it, I think like, do they still think about that, or
they
what's
keep
the
mentioning
plan?
it? They're definitely thinking about it. They keep saying when Death of a Spaceman comes in, when Death of a Spaceman comes in, so they're thinking about it, but
there are 1,000 people, like, are the same people mentioning it, kind of. Basis, like, it's advertisement for SitCon. I think we can talk about this after SitCon.
Yeah,
it's just a little sneak peek. Yeah,
it's a fun sneak peek for SitCon. I don't think it's going to be anything we're playing with anytime soon.
No.
I mean, like I said, there's so much stuff like they have to build and connect before this is even possible. Yeah, it's cool that they show it. It's nice graphics.
Well, yeah, because they've kept
nice
it very
room,
close to the chest since the start of the year. Like they've been doing it this whole year.
These are the kind of sneak peeks I want to see.
Yeah.
Don't get mad at me when I'm not like, drooling over it. But this is exactly the kind of
but
stuff
they've
I want to
given
see
us a
them doing.
crumb, Mike.
Yeah. These are the kind of things I like it.
Yep.
I'm not gonna freak out about it too much. I got way more excited by hearing them say MMO than something like this, right? Because I think that has way more meaning. Is their intentions or their goals, that kind of stuff.
The interview with the economy guy was so good when he said, we were building a MMO, there will be grind, and I thought, yes.
Now, the grind that we currently have, like I've been saying, I'm not sure if they've really nailed it yet, but
not even close. But
they're trying, I guess. Anything else, Max?
I mean, this is what we had in the week, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I said I keep it short.
Yeah.
I kept it short.
Then I guess we'll let you go, and I appreciate you calling.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
All right, brother.
No worries. Have a good one.
Yep. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you soon. All right, our technically last caller. If Croncy's a nice guy, maybe we'll sneak somebody else in. I don't know. But we have Fenn.
Fenn, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. What would you like to talk about?
It's gonna be like probably 3 things. Maybe just 2 if we're lucky. So it's gonna have to do with the contested zones and what the possible reward could be. I honestly thought it would be cool to kind of sneak in something more MMO-y where you can get components that are a different grade. So like we have the military grade and all the engineering and all industry and all that shit, but it's not. I feel like this is more of just different types when you could go for like a master crafted one, which you could only get from there and not buy it with credits or some other shit. And
unique and meaningful, actual like stat upgrades, right?
Yeah. And the only way we would get that would be from those contested zones. and something to actually fight over. It's kind of like, it's very Tarkov-y. Like you would go into the zone, you would find something extremely exclusive, and that would be it.
Yeah, I'm still gonna hammer home. Because the only person that's happy is the one that got the big reward. If gear matters, if the stuff the characters bring with them carry a similar, not to the grand prize level, but a similar level of I've opened my door, I've opened their loot inventory or whatever, I've opened this character, and I'm happy with what I see, and I'm happy to loot them, and I'm not just looting their stuff so they can't come back and get it. This is going to be very good, and that's also going to improve Ghost Hollow and SPK content.
And they need to kind of get away from credit rewards, because not really much else to work for in the game other than you get credits for credits. You can't do anything with credits if you have everything already.
Yeah.
The other thing would be kind of something more cargo related, and that'd be because I play a lot of Warframe and Destiny, so I get to see all those little public events they do, and I think it'd be interesting to have something like I would say like a unique resource that could go into crafting more or less, where you can actually be like a huge community and build an actual station. So you would have to go through and basically there's a request comes in, they're like, hey, we need this specific building supplies, and you can get it from any of the other systems. Pyro is going to be really cheap to get it, and there's some contracts as well to get it, so if there's people who can't buy the actual resources and run it, they can still run it, but they get less rewards. But you can always go to Pyro if you're going to be the guy who's got enough money to try to fight through Pyro and bring, let's say, like steel beams or something to help build the station. And then the end goal is you get a new station in a very specific area. Could help with trading, shit like that.
Sure. I mean, the Twitch chat is posting every copium emote I have available for you on that one. But
I mean, that's a good example of the question we posed last week of like what's a way to have this sort of stuff work, in far future patches, and that'd be a cool one.
Yeah. Exactly. It's fun to look far ahead as well.
Yeah.
The other thing would be, I don't know if this is kind of related, but like, what are they going to do with caves? Like, what's y'all guys' opinion with that? Because I don't see them going anywhere.
Nothing.
Well, we're getting new caves.
Yeah, but are they doing any content in them?
Yeah, but like, what are they doing? You could go there and see a secret base, but what's the chances you're gonna?
That's the thing. Old caves did have that.
I have some info, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. I have some info, maybe. I was bored today because, I was looking for water. I was running out of water, so I was at an outpost. I was looking for it in the game, and I did look at all the tooltips for like a Mashi plague, the poop that's at the caves, the heart of the woods. Like I kept seeing all those things. I don't remember the descriptions being this detailed, or at the very least being able to see them completely. You know how they always cut off?
Yeah.
Every single one of those items had a crafting implication written on them. Every single one.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. Sweet.
So there's your answer for caves, maybe.
And then I'll touch on caves in just like when they introduced Copians, they introduced Copian missions in caves. So it feels like caves are now just another location to add new missions. And that's probably where they'll stay. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to do anything much fancier than that.
Yeah.
All right. The only thing I could think of, because I'm gonna make myself quick, I gotta actually go here soon, is going to be the asteroid bases. Are they just like essentially just kind of like Bloodborne
think of them
dungeons?
as outposts.
Like outposts.
Yeah, they're like bunkers. Is sort of the way they're talked about. Just using new assets and stuff.
I thought it was going to be like a whole thing where you could literally find them. Like you'd have to scan for them, and they'd be randomly. They have a random chance of spawning in the field.
Missions are going to take us to them.
This is Star Citizen. They just have a bunch of artists.
Actual gameplay.
Yeah, dude. They may have a bunch of artists make cool stuff, and then they hype it up so much that you think it's something more than just a static location that has nothing to do there. Like that is not nothing, but come on. I mean,
yeah. It's going to be your
outposts.
eliminate all missions. It's going to be your
settlements.
Cargo missions.
Yeah, just look back in history. It's everything we've seen for the last 10 years. Again,
maybe
front.
One day we'll get gameplay.
Yeah, what's so exciting about contested zones is it's not that. right? It was literally adding gameplay to one of these locations that's unique and special and hopefully good.
I think it would definitely be interesting. The only thing I'd have to say is it's very hard to get new people in mostly because of I feel like there should be a better player experience sometimes for new players, because right now it's just a little track mission, but I don't know, maybe we'll get into that with like 1.0 or something, where it's like a full-blown actual mission curated that isn't spawn at Mycotech, spend 30 minutes crashing because of, well, the many bugs, the issues, the people. It doesn't really tell you how the flight system works. It just says, hey, press B. What does B do? And you go shoot up into the ceiling and you're dead, and then they get angry.
You have to have a game to have a proper tutorial and teach players how to play it. And
what we've got now got introduced. Was it last year or the year before? Where we got the first one at, I want to say, R-Corp. The player experience before that was so abysmal that you could not play the game unless you had someone with you. Now, at the very least, people can try to play without someone with them. But yeah, it does need to be more fleshed out. But I mean, you like mentioned the bugs and stuff like that. Well, yeah, of course. That's not a new player experience thing. That's an everyone experience.
Yeah.
So that, there's
plenty
of reasons to fix those.
They're just preparing you.
They're preset bugs. Exactly.
Yeah.
At 5 minutes, we're going to make them fall through the ground.
Yep.
I don't really have anything else other than, do you guys have any predictions for what might show up at Citizen Con? Like anything you think that they'll be completely out of the blue that no one's
expecting? More star systems than just Nyx.
Ooh, I feel
like that's a pretty big.
But they're going to be the way they showed Pyro like years ago. Like it was never done, not even close to done. It is our intention is to work on Nyx. Our intention is to work on these systems next.
Yeah, they likely have a lot of the art assets done, but none of the like meat and potatoes, if that makes sense.
Sometimes I wonder if this may be a bit too much for them. Where why not just introduce random jump points where you could go through and just random generate a planet sometimes, just for the exploration part of the gameplay?
Because it would be a different game. It would not be Star Citizen. Yeah, what you're describing is Elite or No Man's Sky. It would just be a completely different game. And so they just do not have that design philosophy for this. That's all.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Fenn, we'll probably let you go there, man. Yeah.
All right. Have a good.
Yeah. Cheers. Thanks for
first
joining
time
us.
caller, right?
Have a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Awesome. Cool. Hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Talk to you soon, man. Bye now.
Catch you, man.
All right. So that was Fenn. I got the call. I got to be the bad guy. You don't even get to be the nice guy. I got the call. So everyone in waiting, I'm sorry, but we're gonna let you go. It's noon. It's time for me to go. We got to go to the grocery store and get food. We don't have any food in the house. So that was Answer the Call. Crazy week.
Feels good to have another good week of stuff again.
It feels, I don't care about anything that we like the talking points necessarily as much as I feel it feels good to have played Star Citizen again and didn't hate every moment of it. 323,
100%.
I hated from beginning of Evo until now. Like I just did not enjoy it. It didn't provide me any joy really. This did. And that's I can totally see how anybody who likes doing bunkers, bounties, literally anything, will not enjoy this patch. Sorry, I feel bad for you.
It happens every couple of patches, right?
Yeah.
Where there's just a big feature that does not hit every spectrum of the player. So
this doesn't hit nearly any spectrum of the players. I feel like there's a very small sector of players that are like, I totally don't mind clicking my tractor beam 5,000 times a day. So that's me, and I get it. And we definitely cannot be doing this anymore. We cannot. It is August 4th, and we have had what was one patch in their minds of what they were capable of delivering. We can't keep doing this. And we're still getting Jared going, this will be the best year yet, and still kind of holding strong on that, which is impressive. And not so they might have something up their sleeve. I don't think so. if by the best year yet is more shit you're going to show me at CitizenCon that you can't do, then it's not a good year, right?
Yeah.
So they still got some time left, but this ain't it for a lot of people. It is for us. This is great, but there's got to be something better.
Yep.
So yeah, that's all I really have to say on that. I'm happy. I'm enjoying myself, but is everybody enjoying themselves? Are we working in the right direction? I think a lot of people probably feel like the answer to that might be no for now. And I definitely respect and understand that opinion. But I will continue to chain many, many missions over and over and over again and be very happy.
100%.
Yeah. So that's what I got for today. I don't know what you got going on. We definitely will keep promoting the D&D session coming up on the 17th.
Yes, I'm going to do a post up on Twitter today or tomorrow. But yeah, it's all locked in. It's going to be literally at this time right now.
Yes.
On the 17th. So if you want to watch SaltEMike, Space Tomato, Astropub, Expat, myself, Red Monster SC, almost forgot him, play a D&D game for charity, make sure you come over. It'll be on my stream, twitch.tv/Croncy.
Is this something that will go over multiple sessions, or is it one day?
One shot for this one.
Hell
if everyone's keen on it, we might run more, but yeah, it's one shot.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know if it was like this long campaign that goes on forever, or you do it in one day. How many hours?
Yeah, like I said,
I've never played D&D
we'll probably
before.
go from 4 to 6 hours.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
nice.
Sweet.
My first ever playing D&D. I have no idea what's going on. I'm at the point where we're coming up to it. I have to watch YouTube videos on like, what the fuck do I do? I don't want to ruin it.
Don't worry,
Croncy put so much work in, and Red, I don't want to ruin it for anybody. So,
Mike, if you don't come in full character accurate cosplay, I'm leaving the podcast.
Okay, my character looks like Hezbollah. How am I going to do that?
Look, that's up to you.
Okay.
I feel like that joke's gone too far, and now Mike's going to actually do that. Anyway, if you liked the podcast,
I'm just going to have a picture, like I'm gonna have a screen of me, and there's just gonna be a window, and I'm just gonna be staring through it like this, like that one meme of him.
I love it.
Or just eating.
Just eating the entire time.
Yeah.
If you like the podcast today, make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you like the podcast. It's awesome. We've got almost 5,000 subscribers now.
Yeah, super close.
Yep, super close. So make sure you do that. If you want to go above and beyond, we do have members active, but that is not an expectation we have from you guys at all. We just hope you enjoy the video. Yeah. And with that, Mike, don't you forget. Say it.
To answer the call.